Hey, what's up guys? Amanda Engstrom with Raze Motorsports. Today we're going to go over what comes in the heated handlebar kit and how to install it. In the kit, you're going to get the handlebars with the pad. You're going to get the custom billet thermostat with the control valve, the billet coupling, 4 Oetiker clamps, and stainless steel braided lines coated. Alright, the tools you're going to need to install this is a T15, a Phillips head, torque wrench, 8mm and 10mm socket, a 1/4 drive ratchet and the drive extension, 6mm nut driver, hose cutter or razor blade, paint marker, and Oetiker pliers. First thing you gotta do is cut the protective coating off the bars. Get this left grip off. So we're going to take the T15, loosen this up, and get this off. Next, you're going to grab your 8mm, and we're going to loosen up the clutch, the brake, and the throttle. Just going to loosen them up enough that we can swing them around to be able to access. Grab the Phillips head screwdriver and loosen up the kill and start button. Next, we're going to get the 8mm and take the number plate off. Now we're going to take the 10mm, remove the bar clamps, and get the bars out of the way. Alright, next thing, we're going to set your new handlebars in place. You can get them installed and position them to your liking. Then we're going to go ahead and torque it to 29.5 foot-pounds. We're going to do one side at a time. Brake lever on here. Then let's get the throttle tube. Before you tighten down your brake, you want to make sure your throttle tube is completely pressed onto the bars. You can get it out of the way so you can access your brake lever. Now that that's in line, you can get your throttle tube. Now we're going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Get them just set in place, but don't tighten them down until we can get your grip on. This one does go on a little bit snug, so use a rubber mallet and there you go, get that grip into place. Now you're able to get everything positioned and locked down. All right guys, now that we've got everything installed on the handlebar themselves, first thing you're going to want to do is loosen up the coolant cap. Then we're going to go down and we're going to drain the coolant. All right, once the coolant's all drained out, you're going to put your bolt back in and torque it to 88 inch-pounds. Next, we need to install the thermostat. It's going to be positioned like so. You're going to want to make sure that your bolts are facing up and your fitting is up, positioned evenly between your fuel tank and your radiator. But before we take this hose out, we want to mark the bottom so we can figure out where bottom center is. Then you're going to want to take your 6mm, loosen up the clamps, get them nice and loose and get them out of your way, both bottom and top. And then you're going to gently get the hose out of your way. Like so. All right, now that we got the hose off, this is what we're trying to achieve. This is the top. You're going to prep your hose. You're going to want to look for that mark you made on the bottom to indicate the bottom section, and you're going to go to the top. From the top, you're going to measure 3 inches on center, and you're going to make your mark. Then you're going to evaluate the hose, take a look at the radius, find the center of your radius, make your mark. Go 1.5 inches on either side of your center line and make your mark. This is going to be your bottom piece. So we're going to go ahead and cut that out. Take that little section off. This is now your bottom piece. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get some brake cleaner or another type of cleaner that's not going to leave a residue. And it is a little bit difficult to install onto your thermostat. And you're going to want to make sure your bottom piece is orientated with your fitting up. That's lit on here. We're going to do the same thing for your top. All right, so this is how you're gonna want the hoses orientated. We're gonna take it over to the bike and do a test fit before we permanently mount it. Test fit, so what we're gonna do, again, you want to do a little bit of cleaner, make it a little easier for you to get that hose hooked up in there. Slide it on. What you do is make sure that your control valve is easily accessible for you without the thermostat hitting anything. Get that up into place. Do the same thing on the bottom end. And get that positioned in there just so. If you find that you're getting a kink in this bottom hose, go ahead and trim it back 1/4, 1/8 inch until that kink is removed and you have fluid motion. Once you get it positioned exactly where you like it, go ahead and remove it without spinning the thermostat. Go ahead and get those Oderker clamps on. Slide those Oderker clamps on, get them positioned just right. Let's get your tool on them and lock them down. So you're going to want to grab your clamps, your 6mm nut drive, and your spray, and let's install this for good. So orientate your clamps so that it's easily accessible for you. Let's get this installed. All right, once in position, spin those clamps around, get them in place. Grab your 6 mil and tighten them down. And there you have it. We're going to take the front 2 bolts out of the radiator. You're not going to take the radiator completely out. We're just going to loosen them so that we can get in behind it. Get it out of our way a little bit. Alright, so what we're going to want to do is take the braided line with the 2 straight ends. We're going to go along the frame and the shock tower, under the radiator hose. You're going to take an immediate left and go over the center tube to the other side of the bike. Alright, so this is what it's going to look like. You're going to go ahead and connect it to your thermostat. Alright, then grab a 7/16 and a 9/16 and tighten it to the thermostat. Connect that same braided line to the clutch side. Alright, so now we're going to install the return coupler onto the other coolant line. Grab your marker and you're going to mark bottom, just like we did on the other side. Grab your 6 millimeter. And let's get this out of the way. This is what we're trying to make. So what we're going to do is you're going to lay the hose down with the radius to the left, and you're going to measure 2 3/4 on the center line. You're going to draw your mark, and this is where we're going to cut. Alright guys, so remember we marked the bottom, so you're going to want to lay that opposite of the fitting, and you're going to want to make sure that the fitting is pointing up. Okay, so this is how you're going to want it to look. You're going to want a sweeping turn opposing the fitting, and from the top down you're going to want to see the top piece kick to the right. And test fit this hose. Now remember that your radiator is loose, so hold on to it as we fit it. And you're going to want to make sure that the fitting is in the back. And when you get it installed, this is what it should look like. Now we're going to go ahead and remove it and make it permanent. Okay, so you can bring it back to your table. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab the other braided line, and we need to route this prior to installing. We need to get it down to position. Braided line, make sure you put the 45-degree end in. We're going to route it the same way we did the other one, but you're going to bring it down to the return coupler. We are going to install the return line prior to putting the hose in, because once we put this in, you won't be able to access it. You have opposing radiuses. Go ahead and lock it down. And you're going to grab your 7/16 wrench and your 9/16 and tighten it up. All right, once you get the hose in, your braided line should look exactly like this. Let's tighten her down and we'll connect it to the handlebars. Install our return line onto the bars. Grab your 7/16 and 9/16. Go ahead and get this installed. Attach our radiator. Go ahead and tighten those back down. Next up, let's get your number plate back on. Again. All right, and then we have the final touch, which is putting coolant back in the bike. Go ahead and open up the fill, get your funnel in there. Okay, so once we fill the coolant, we're gonna bleed it out by running the bike with the cap off, the radiator cap off. And what you're gonna wanna do is make sure that your valve is in the open position, and you're gonna go ahead and run the bike until it's an operating temperature. Top off your coolant and replace the cap. All right, final step, we gotta put the pad back on. The coolant's topped off. After idling for a couple minutes, as you can see, you got heat in the handlebars around 120 degrees. And that, my friends, is how you install coolant heated handlebars on a KTM bike. Snike.